Well, good morning, everybody. Almost afternoon. Thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Kimmy McBurney with Allied Home Inspections, and I'm so excited. This is genuinely one of my favorite events of the year to feature moms, and honestly, it's really open to everybody, right? Some parents, anyone in real estate. I joke, anyone in real estate who has anything to manage besides themselves, right? So that may be some pets, or tiny little humans that depend on you somewhere. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm really excited. Um, Slightly nervous. You guys making me nervous. The pressure is on. I actually wrote some stuff. I usually don't write anything to say, but like I said, this event means so much to me that I really wanted to make sure I got it all in there. So first off, like I said, I'm glad you guys are all here. I know it's not easy to take time away. The lovely weather, right? It's a lovely day for an event. People love to come out in the rain. So glad you guys all made it. As I said, my name is Kimmy. So I'm a mom of two. I'm a wife. Some of you have met my husband, Chuck, if you've had an inspection with us. I'm also a licensed general contractor. I also do personally hold my home inspection license. So juggling all the things. And I do also have a real estate license, but I'm not in production. I commend all of you for what you do. It was not for me. But yeah, that's right. I swapped diaper bags for a tool bag. Really on a mission to support families like y'all, women like you. I created this event because I know firsthand how tough it is to juggle mom life, work life, all the things. Being a mom in real estate isn't just a job, right? It's a juggling act of epic proportions. But of what I've learned is when we show up for each other, that's when really the magic happens. And today is just about that, right? Supporting one another, sharing what works, laughing at what doesn't, and remembering we're not alone on this journey. So thank you all again for being here. And also just FYI, this is being recorded because I do want to kind of memorialize this and share this with all those who couldn't be here or make time to be here. So very thankful for that. So this is when I usually do a little brief commercial about what we are at Allied Home Inspection, but I'm just kind of skip over that, right? Because this is more than about that. The only shameless plug I will do for today is this is our newest treat at Allied Home Inspection. That's a septic truck. Things I never thought I'd own, right? So we'd love to work with you guys for your septic stuff, especially because our entire septic division is female-led. So very excited to have that in-house. But I kind of wanted to focus more on this, right? I was so thrilled that this was our news feed this week, right? I was able to feature all of the ladies that are here to speak today. And I loved just the female emphasis and power that we were able to showcase. Because if you can see at the bottom, I asked ChatGPT. I gave them the prior photo. I gave them this photo and I said, please make it a little action figure of our team. That's what it spit out. 5 very identical looking gentlemen, which no offense to gentlemen, but I was like, I literally showed you a picture with female home inspectors in it and you just spit out gentlemen like that. So we are really, really proud of the women of Allied Home Inspection. That's us. So that's Justine with the purple hair. If you ever recall, that's who you're talking to. And then, yes, the 3 licensed female home inspectors of Allied Home Inspection. One, Whitney, over there standing in the back. She moonlights as a check-in host. She did a very good job. And she's on her way to an inspection shortly. So we appreciate her for that. But I really, yes, all the inspections. But I really just wanted to showcase we're a little bit different. Like I said, we really put an emphasis on our company being woman-led and take pride in employing the only full-time female home inspectors in Western North Carolina. So I'm really proud of that. So 2 quotes. I did want to shamelessly share a Google review we got last week. We are the highest rated home inspection company in Western North Carolina. But I love this one. It said, I requested Lindsay because I saw she had great reviews, but also because girl power. Can I get a woo? Some girl power? Thank you. Also, I think girls are more detail oriented. Let's raise our hand if we agree. Sorry, guys. I'm just kidding. So really proud of that. She was very informative, very nice and personable. My bug inspection happened at the same day, and the 2 of them together were making us laugh. So I really love this because one of our core mission values is to deliver serious information, but with a little bit of humor and lightheartedness, right? We don't want to scare anybody away, but we do have a serious job to do. So wanted to share that. And last but not least, I was browsing some inspirational quotes this morning, and I loved this one. The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. As I mentioned before, I was raised in construction. I now live in the home inspection space. I promise you, women are not in the majority in where I live. So happy to be here with y'all and to kind of dig into this topic. So without further ado, whenever I have sponsors or contributors, I really want to pick people from the industry who are giving back, who I genuinely have firsthand experience with, giving back to agents and doing all that stuff. So I wanted to welcome up one of my bestest friends, Corey Wall. Yes, all the applause. She is an agent with eXp Realty, but one of the things I really wanted to highlight, she hosts an AHA Club monthly. So it stands for Agents Helping Agents. And I wanted to invite her here to tell you guys a little bit about that and share some of her favorite tips and tricks as a real estate mama.
Thanks. Thanks, Kimmy. I'm so excited about this event. I think this is our third year, our third annual event. So first of all, happy Mother's Day, everybody. I think every mom I've talked to today is exhausted, and yesterday was not fulfilling. So I want to redo, but I just am so grateful to be together with you guys and truly want you to sit with this moment and with these lovely ladies and consider this not competition, consider this not comparing yourself, and just how can we do better together, right? Okay, so what I have to talk to you about today, Kimmy said this is my newest picture of my kids. They're 6, way taller, and almost 4, so I probably need to share my children a little bit more. And this is my Agents Helping Agents. It's the third Wednesday of every month. I would really love if you guys can come. I just saw Luda, one of my favorite people in the back. I'm sorry, this is ADD, right? Okay, so Alexander Wall is my husband, and he works for Asheville Police Department. He is coming to talk to us about agent safety, and I'm really excited about this. I know a lot of us are listening heavy at the moment, but it's very important. What he has to talk about is just like the psychology of an attacker and what that looks like. So I'd really love you guys to be there and every month moving forward. Okay, so delegation. What are things you guys do to delegate? Just shout out a few items. Anybody? A house cleaner. Yes. Anybody else? ChatGPT. That is so true. ChatGPT. So yes, because oftentimes we can find ourselves, especially as moms, we're wearing every hat, right? Caregiver, cleaner, cook, scheduler, chauffeur, that's my favorite, Uber driver, therapist, negotiator, and sometimes a miracle worker. But today I want to talk about something that has changed my life and my business. The first move I made was hiring a transaction coordinator. Second one was an assistant, part-time, that helped me in my business. And then the third one was a nanny. Holy crap, biggest move I've ever made, because you guys know childcare is not cheap, but then take a nanny and put her in your house, holy smokes. But I can tell you that tripled my business. What? So, and my kids get to be at home and I get to see them. So you really have to think about, and this is how I made this move, and I sat hours talking to my husband. If you guys know my husband, he's like a penny pincher, which I love. But I had to sit hours and hours with him and talk about what is your hourly rate. So you have to really sit down with yourself and think, okay, how much did I make last year? How much am I planning to make this year? What does my pipeline look like? And then split it out and how many hours you work. Now, don't say you work 52 weeks because we're not going to do that, right? Say about like 48 weeks, 40 hours a week. We know we work a little bit more, but trying. And then come up with your hourly rate. And then think about what items you're doing that are $20 an hour. So this is just, I'm going to try to finish up here, but real numbers here. Okay, cleaning service. Now, ChatGPT helped me with this part. I know it's not $120 a week, but we're just going to use it for our brains. But $120 a week, that's 4 hours that you've saved. Grocery delivery, Instacart, Walmart, $20 a week, 2 hours saved. Meal prep kits, $50 a week, that's 3 hours saved. Laundry service even, Who would have thought of that? $40 a week, and that's 2 hours saved. So that's 11 hours per week for about $230 total. Now, let's just average your commission is $10,000 per closing, and you close one extra deal because you followed up with a lead, did an extra showing, or made one more relationship building call with those hours. That's $230 investment turns to $10,000. That's a 4,200% return. Now, is that worth it? I think so. So, anyways, this Mother's Day, because we're redoing it, right? I'm not asking you to hustle harder. I'm asking you to lead smarter. We're CEOs of our household and our business, and CEOs delegate, right? Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, Kimmy.
Thanks. Will you pass this to Sabrina?
Yeah.
Thanks. Can we get an amen for Instacart? Anybody else? That is my lifeline. Thank you to Corey. And really, as a reminder, she does these monthly. We have a Facebook group, Agents Helping Agents Asheville, I think it is. So if you guys want to join that for some more community and support, feel free to join us. And then real quick before we move on, I want to thank our sponsors. Most of them are female-led companies. WNC Real Estate Photography, we all know and love. Vesta Property Management, if you're looking for a great property manager. Allied Home Inspections. College Hunks, where did Ann go? Oh, there she is. A woman-led moving company, so we love that. So Ann with College Hunks. And then we have Inara's, and am I saying that right? Alterations, so Tatiana is joining us. So please support women-owned businesses. We love that they support us and make things like today possible. So again, back to the theme, like I said, I only use and support and request that vendors come or collaborators that I know and trust. So in our most recent home purchase was just in November. Well, we closed in November. Due diligence ended September 30th. Sound familiar? I was like, is this happening? Are we closing? What's going on? It was very amicable. It was fine. The house is fine. We're very blessed. But Sabrina was the one who was kind of ushering us through this. And what I loved about her approach so much was she has a very whole health approach to mortgages, right? It wasn't just about, okay, sure, I can get you a mortgage, but what is best for you? What's the best utilization of cash and debt and all those things? So I truly, truly have been able to work with her firsthand and have so appreciated it. And I think she's such an asset to all of us in Western North Carolina. So I wanted to invite Sabrina West with Rate Incorporated.
Thank you.
You got your mic? All right.
I got my mic. All right. Good morning. So how many, is this on? Yes. How many people felt a little frantic coming in this morning? A little bit? Well, for me, this is what me being a mom, my husband left at 6:30. I was on child duty. Normally he drops him off. My pants are not ironed. The back of my hair is not ironed, but I'm here, right? So that's how I started my day, right? So I kind of like to talk about beliefs. If anybody has come to my Committed series, to me, it's like strategic beliefs, things, core beliefs or limiting beliefs that really kind of keep you from doing certain things. So for me, I always try to find that balance. I turned 50 in March, and so I have been on this journey for probably about, how long now, Elizabeth? A long time. It is a lifetime. So let's start. Who am I? So I've been in the business for 25 years as a lender, 17 years as a business investor. I've owned a coffee shop, a trucking company, a tanning salon. I started that when I was 20. I know I'm a redhead, but you see the tan? So I've been a business investor. I'm also a mother of 5. And when I say mother of 5, I did not birth 5 children. I was a single mom at 25. And then I was a blended mother, stepmother at 32. And then I was a new mom at 41. So I have kids aging from 28 all the way to 8. My youngest is autistic. So I'm always learning and always striving to be better and being an entrepreneur, right? So as you can tell, I'm also strategist for ADHD brain. You're going to see this, Corey. We relate. Being ADHD, I'm sitting here talking. I'm like, oh, you smiled at me. Where was I? So that is my ADHD brain. I'm always trying to figure out how to like manage and organize. That means I'm a little bit OCD in my life. And then I'm the entrepreneur of a work-life balance. So for me, being work-life balance has really been a struggle, right? And I want to kind of go through, and I'm going to be a little vulnerable about why I put these questions in. So understanding your core beliefs is understanding your core beliefs. Your beliefs shape how you approach challenges, relationships, and success. By identifying and understanding them, you can better navigate life's demands. So I'm going to be honest about the questions that I'm asking you to ask yourself, okay? So questions to help you uncover your core beliefs. What do I believe about success? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not what I feel now, but it's what I have struggled with and trying to debunk, okay? So for me, what I believed about success, that I had to do it all. I always had to do it all. Like, it's me white knuckling it, figuring it out. What do I believe I must do to be seen as valuable? I have to be amazing at it. I have to do it perfect. I have to be absolutely amazing at it, because if I make a mistake, I am my own worst critic. What do I believe about money, rest, relationships, and leadership? So I had to really kind of think about this and be honest with myself. I don't want to show weakness. How can you be a badass entrepreneur, a nurturing mom, a sexy wife, a patient leader? How can you do it all? Does anyone else feel that way? Like you're trying to do it all? Some days I feel like I'm always sitting in my masculine and I'm like, I want to be taken care of. I want to just be the mom to nurture. I don't want to have to figure all those other things out. So then I started kind of thinking about, where did those beliefs come from? Did they come from my experience? Did they come from like families and generational like expectations? Did they come from faith? Did they come from fear? And for me, I think part of it is just society, right? Where most people have to have both people working now, right? So for me, one of the biggest struggles, it was like we were both working, and then my husband stayed home for a little bit, and then I would come home at 6, and he'd be like, here's the baby. And I would go, hold on, can I decompress a minute? And then you're in that nurture. Okay, now I've got to switch gears. I got to be the nurturer. I got to be the breadwinner. I got to do all of the things. So for me, I think it's society, and then it was fear. Fear for me failing, And does anyone feel like they're failing forward some days, right? I mean, I think that's the honest truth, right? So just kind of think about it. You obviously don't have to write it down, but write down 3 beliefs that influence your daily behaviors, and then ask yourself, are they helping me create balance or creating pressure? How many would say balance? How many would say pressure? Nobody? It's pressure, right? We create that pressure. Are they mine, or are they something I adopted without questioning? Do you feel like you adopted those things, or do you feel like they were things that you created in your head? For me, personally, I think I created some of those things in my head, right? And I felt like I couldn't pass it on, that, I can do it better, and I can always do it better. Well, this is the way you should do it. So that's my controlling A-type personality. So there you go. So what did I do to start changing that? In the last few years, I'm 50 years old. I'm in that stage of my life where now I have an 8-year-old autistic son. I also have aging parents that live with me. I had deaths in my family, and I really couldn't white knuckle it anymore. I was like, I cannot white knuckle this anymore. I've got to figure out how to hand people stuff back, and really leverage those things. So aligning values with your actions. So when you're, my ADHD kicked in. One more time. Wait, hold on. Okay. When your actions align with your core values, you experience a sense of balance. Discrepancies between the two can create stress and dissatisfaction. So for me, I said, so can you identify the top 3 values, what your top 3 values are? Can you come up with them off the top of your head? So for me, it was family, financial security, because financial security creates freedom in my mind. Okay. I audited my calendar and my commitments. I really, really, really had to learn to say no, like no to people. And sometimes it wasn't like this harsh no, because how many people have like, you keep doing it and you keep doing it, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. And then you go hard left the other way, and everybody's like, what's wrong? They've lost their mind. And that's not what it was. Like, I had to find that balance where I just said, no, I have to hand this back to you. I'll help you find a therapist. I'll redirect you, but I can't do it for you anymore. Because a lot of those things, I think sometimes as moms and entrepreneurs, we don't want to fail. And what happens is we take it all on without even being asked. I see some head shaking down here. I actually see all of you head shaking. No one asked us to say, you have to take this on today. Like, you have to take it on, and this is what you have to do. But sometimes we feel like it's our responsibility. We're supposed to do it all. So I had to really look at my calendar and look at the people who were doing things in my life, and I had to kind of set those boundaries. My good friend Elizabeth has been along this journey with me, and I'm doing pretty good at it, huh? Yeah, we are doing good. So find yourself a tribe, somebody that can have those honest conversations and be like, here's where you should say no. And then make micro adjustments. Begin to shift time, energy, and priorities better reflect what matters. So for me, one of the things that I did in business is I compared myself to every other lender. I have to do it their way. They're doing this. They have to do this. And so one thing I stopped doing is I stopped getting on social media whenever I felt like I was failing or felt like I wasn't doing something. The last thing I did is I was like, do not scroll right now. When you're feeling at that place where that trigger gets you and you feel like you're not doing enough, because the thing is everyone has their goals. So stay in alignment with yourself. I think for me, staying in alignment with myself has actually brought me freedom. It's actually given me more time to sit in my sauna and cold plunge. And it's given me more time to be patient with people. And then I feel more at peace. And actually my business continues to grow the other way because I've learned to say no to the proper things, and I'm in alignment with my core values. And taking that time to be in alignment with your core values is important. It will balance you out. So Corey talked about leverage. How am I on time? 3 minutes? Well, that's a good thing. You're engaged. So leveraging, right? So practical techniques for leveraging business and life. Leveraging is about using what you already have, skill sets, tool times, people to create more impact, less strain. Strategic leveraging helps you grow sustainably and stay in balance. How many people actually leverage anything in their life? How long did it take you to get there? I remember 3 years ago whenever I used to clean my house every Saturday, right? Because I never had time during the week. My weeks were crazy. And I remembered my husband, I was like, I'm going to hire a house cleaner. And he was like, we're not those people. It's like, you might not be that people, but I am that people. I'm like, I need to. And me handing that back, I guess 4 years ago now, I'm like, oh, my laundry's done and my house it's cleaner. Now, do I have to pick up during the week? But it's cleaner. I think sometimes we wait too long to leverage. How many people have an assistant? Okay. So for me, it took me a long time to figure out what my assistant needed to do. Because in my mind, in business, I needed them to be able to communicate with my agents, do all of these things. And you know what my assistant does? She does those cute little bearable gifts they do. She helps me with events. She picks up my kid. She makes sure my dogs are groomed. She takes my elderly mother who lives with me to the doctors whenever I need her to, or does those things. Sometimes leveraging isn't going to look exactly like what we think it is. So leverage time through systems. If you have a system, whether it's a shared calendar, put husband or partner or whoever on there and be like, this one is now assigned to you, and then don't micromanage it. Do not micromanage it. You can go fix it a little bit afterwards, but don't micromanage it. So leverage your relationships. It was a hard thing for me to be able to turn around and reach out for help. I had to learn to call my friend. I didn't want anybody to know that I was like struggling, that I just needed to cry. I didn't need anything. I'm like, today I'm having a poop day. There's a child in the room. And I just want to, I need my tribe. So I learned to let myself be with people who allowed me to be myself. And then I showed up for them the same way. And I think, and it doesn't have to be a big group. Sometimes it's just 2 people, maybe 3. We're okay. So leveraging knowledge, Kimmy, all your people, right? So leverage your knowledge, leverage money smartly. Whenever you are dialed in on your budget, most of the time you're going to be dialed in on the rest of, your life, because money brings stress. So for me, I always have to, like, once a month, I have to make sure that all of that's dialed in. Leverage your strengths. Know what you do well and what you don't do well, right? It took me a while for me to be able to stand up here and do this, but everybody's like, I love to hear you speak because you speak honestly, and then it took me a while to be like, okay, this is what I'm good at. I should do more of this. And the other things I've handed off. And then leverage your belief as fuel. Return to your why to keep decisions, alignment, and energy focused. So this is me. I am a lender too, but I use a behavioral finance approach for people. I don't use traditional lending. I like to meet people with where they're at in their life and customize how they're doing. Because my clients, I like to come back to me for life, not just for a short period of time. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Oh, turn it off.
Turned it off.
They're good. And I think I turned it up, so I'm gonna have to try not to yell at you guys. Thank you, Sabrina. I love that, like, I kind of just prompted Corey and Sabrina to talk about what impacts their jobs as mothers, right? And you can tell that kind of the core belief was the leverage, putting it against your belief. So I love that we're kind of all on the same page already. So without further ado, we're going to dig into what we're all here for. So I'm going to welcome up our panelists. So Dee, Alicia, Leslie, Brooklyn, Elizabeth, please welcome yourselves on up. Grab whatever chair is easiest for you to sit on. Watch out for my death trap of cords. Welcome. Yes, let's please give these ladies a round of applause. So exciting. All right, Leslie, you draw the short straw. So if you could turn that on. Could you test it for a second when you get seated? Wonderful. Okay, so go ahead and take a seat. So I'm so excited. So I mentioned I made a little reel. Where did it go? I think we'll do it from memory. So 5 moms, 13 kids between you guys. Very impressive. So in the last year alone, they have done almost 100 transactions between them, just about 65 million. And to be honest, Brooklyn helps manage a team. If we counted your team production, we'd be almost $200 million in production. So really impressive what these ladies can accomplish. So excited to dig in. So actually, can you pass down to Dee? So we'll go back and forth each time. So Dee, tell me a little bit about yourself. So quick bio and how long you've been in real estate.
Okay, I don't know if I can be quick, but I'll try to be. So I've been in real estate about going on my 5th year. I have a background in marketing. I graduated from Clemson University and went on into insurance. My husband's actually a State Farm insurance agent in Hendersonville. And so for a long time, I commuted back and forth to South Carolina. I was in claims, which is where we met in Florence, South Carolina, and then ended up working in his office when I could afford to quit my job, basically, and go work with him. And always put mom first. I always wanted to be mom over myself, basically. So did that for about 3 years. So I have 4 children, 22, 18, and twin 10-year-olds. And so you'll notice there's a big age gap. It's because our twins are fostered to adopt. And my boys are biological. So I stayed home with them for a long time, till they went to kindergarten. So basically just got back into the workforce, did not want to work at a desk. And I like being out and about with people and meeting new people. So it's a little bit
That's
of
perfect. You
background.
nailed it. That's perfect. All right, you can pass the mic to Alicia. Alicia, same question to you. A little bit of a bio. How long you been in real estate?
I'm Alicia Nesbitt, so I'm from here, from the Fairview Fletcher area. I've been in real estate got licensed in 2021, so 4 years now. And so background on me, let's see. I also was in insurance. I was a life and health agent for a little while, and then was able to find some entrepreneurial paths while my littles were really little, and stayed home with them for the most part. And then once Georgia was old enough to go to a preschool, I started in real estate. We come from a farming family, so we also raise and sell locally grown beef. So Kimmy knows about that too.
It's delicious.
Little plug there. But so we kind of do all the things. We have kids in sports. We have animals. Real estate just came really naturally to me. My family owns a lot of commercial real estate, rents it out, and they're entrepreneurs too. So this was just kind of the place that made sense to me. I'm one of those weirdos that passed both my tests the first time. So, and I didn't
You're a
study.
unicorn.
Yeah, I also did not study. So, truth be told.
Well, now you're just showing off.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's been a blessing. I love this career for me because I want to be a mom first. Truth be told, everything around me could crash as long as my kids are taken care of. And this allows me the flexibility to be able to do that. I still love really hard on my clients and have a hard time delegating things. I love them so much. I have to see the whole process through, but it's been a good balance and, big blessing for our family.
I love it. So Leslie, same question. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in real estate.
Like Dee, 5 years. I'm going in my 5th year. I am been up in the mountains for about 10 years. I live in a little cabin in Fletcher. I spent about having my 4 children, ages now 14 to 7. We lived in about a 900 square foot cabin for 7 years, and then just moved into like a huge 1,300 square feet. So it's great because I have my own bedroom and bathroom now, and we are not all in one room. So I really like it. But that kind of got me into real estate when I started looking for homes for my family. And I knew that I wanted to do something outside the home eventually. I didn't want to go back to teaching or social work in the past. So I thought, okay, I think I see her. She's a real estate agent that we were working with. She was great. I think I could do this job. I talked to her about it. And here I am 5 years later. I love it. It is. It's the flexibility is the best thing. It also is the sword. I feel like it's the same coin, and it's the best and the worst of the job. Right.
I'm Brooklyn. So I have been in real estate since 2017. I kind of grew up around it, though. My dad he was a general contractor. He was an appraiser. So we were always around remodels or new builds or some form or fashion of that. And I actually run my dad's team with him. Swore for years I would never work with him, and here I am. And so now actually my aunt, 2 of my brothers, they all work with us as well. So it's a good family business. I had my son after I was in real estate. He's back there, 3 years old. So yeah, I have kind of done every position on the team. I actually went into it as admin, then I got licensed, and now I'm our managing director and I run it. But yeah.
Love it.
I'm Elizabeth. Let's see. So I'm a local, also born and raised in Asheville. Grew up on the north side. North Buncombe High School is where I graduated. Went off to school, got my bachelor's in psychology, got my master's in counseling, got into the healthcare field, did the whole mental health thing for a while. Lost a couple of jobs because mental health went through privatization and companies closed. And I thought, well, darn, what have I done? I've gone into the wrong field. So in 2005, I decided to get my real estate license, started interviewing, and most of the brokerages wanted you to do it full time. And I had just had my son, thought that that just wasn't going to work at this point. So I held my license and I kept it active. The Great Recession happened. I was very grateful for my healthcare job at that time. And then lo and behold, I lost another job in healthcare. And my husband said, you know, this might be a good opportunity for you to get into real estate. So in 2013, with a brand new daughter, I jumped into real estate. I've been a full-time real estate agent since 2013. Absolutely love it. Best career ever.
Oh, and that's it. We're all going to go home. I love it. Perfect. Well, I just want to give you guys a little bit of background. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of curveball. I'm going to kind of combine two questions so you can answer them in one. What did the first few years look like in real estate for you as a mom? And what are some lessons you learned early on that have shaped your journey?
Are we starting with me again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
First few years, I won't lie, they were tough. I was the primary breadwinner, so I was not able to stay home with my kids and raise them. I needed to hit the ball or hit the road running and just go, go, go. So the first 3 years, I worked hard. We made a lot of personal sacrifices. I can remember having conversations about eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and tuna fish sandwiches for a while because we needed to figure it all out. But those first 2 or 3 years are what allowed me to start building a business and, moving forward. Things that I learned early on, leverage. I think that's the theme of today's show. So it takes a village. It takes a village to not only raise a family, but it also takes a village to be a successful realtor. We need to be able to pull on people, whether it's our spouses, whether it's our best friend, whether it's a significant other, a mother, a father, whoever. I found that I needed lots of people to help me in my journey so that I could become the successful realtor that I am today.
Love it. So same question again. So what did the first few years look like, and what are some lessons you learned that shaped your journey along the way? Your son has something to say.
So, first few years kind of still in that. And I learned the very first thing I remember having a conversation with my coach about is when I came back into real estate after having him, I felt like I should be showing up at the same level or higher than I was when I left. And I had to give myself the grace that I am not going to show up exactly the same as I did when I didn't have a baby. And so I had to learn a lot about that because also with it being a family business, there's not as much separation from we go to a family cookout, I'm there with my boss and a lot of my coworkers and everyone's talking real estate. There's a lot of realtors in my parents' house frequently. So finding that separation and being okay to say, I don't really want to talk about that right now because I need some time just with him. But giving myself the grace that it's okay if I'm not at the same level every single day that I was before I had him. And then I think, she touched on it, leverage. That's a huge part. I never stayed home with him outside of my maternity leave. So leaning into my family, finding times, knowing that it's okay if he has to tag along with me sometimes. But realizing that what I do on a daily basis is just going to differ a little bit depending on what he needs. And that doesn't mean that I can't do my job at a high level for my team and my clients.
The first few years is the first thing I'll say. Tough. I feel like I had to constantly remind myself it's the long game, that as slow as I was and every day showing up at an office and having conversations and talking to other agents, talking to my BIC and trying to learn as much as I could, but it was slow. It was such a slow process, and my expectations were just all off, right? I didn't have those aligned properly in the beginning, I think. It took a couple long years, but I really felt like I wanted this career. I saw the potential in the career for myself, how much I could enjoy it. So to just keep showing up those first few years, years, it took a long time. And it's only been 5 years, but those first 3 were tough. And then the second part of the question was...
So from that, what lessons did you learn that shaped your journey?
Yeah, to not, don't give up. real estate is such a long haul. 2005 to get your license and 13 to be active and years since 2017. I mean, just to not give up because that's when it gets good is when everybody else at the 5-year mark, 7-year mark bails, right? To keep going and be one of the final ones. And then also, yes, to leverage and lean on people. That I think is a later question too, but can't stress that enough. Sure.
I want to share one side story that just came to mind when I did my pre-interviews, and Leslie mentioned how when she studied for her real estate test in her 900 square foot cabin with 4 children in the closet. And I was like, it just made me laugh. I was like, that's just what you do early on to make it work. So I wanted to share that. That was amazing. Alicia, same question. What did the first few years look like, and what did you learn that really shaped your journey?
Yeah, the first few years, I mean, Shane, one of the owners of our office is here. She can attest that I took everything. Any lead that came in, like I was running. And I'm really thankful that I ran really hard to begin with because I learned a lot of lessons really quickly. Also built my clientele base really quickly. And then I learned, up to this point that, things that I thought people cared about, they really didn't. Like, a lot of times Georgia, my littlest, a lot of people know her as my little showing assistant because she is with me a lot. And I internalized it, and I thought that clients were bothered by her being there. But then I realized that most of my clients were families and their kids were also there. And then we found each other and we created even more relationships outside of those. And, and now I feel more comfortable saying, no, I'm sorry, I can't show tonight because this, is going on or whatever. Obviously, like, Kimmy and I talked about in the pre-interview, there are exceptions to every rule. But, my rule is that the evenings are for the kids, for the most part. I try to be home. I find a lot of joy and fulfillment in providing for my family, not just financially, but cooking and, maintaining a household. I think it's important for me and I enjoy that. So, I've, knock on wood, never had a client get super mad. But like last Thursday, I missed a ball game because we had to get a showing in because I also knew I was going to be out of town for the weekend. Obviously there's exceptions, but just learning to say no or make it work.
Yeah. And I always highlight, I love that you mentioned early on you took anything. I feel like it's this illusion that, we can be flexible and make our own schedules, but the reality of it, getting started is hard, and you do have to kind of have different expectations and limitations when you start, as opposed to now what you've evolved to. So I love that you mentioned that. So Dee, same question. What did the first few years look like, and what did you learn that shaped your journey from that?
Well, like all the other moms, it was difficult. I give myself a hard time, like, because I want to be the best mom, the best wife, the best friend, And so it's putting pressure on myself. And so I wanted to do it all, but you can't do it all. So just know that you're one person. It's okay to delegate. It's okay to give yourself grace. But I also wanted to put my family first, put my kids first. And I wanted to delve in wholeheartedly because I know myself when my kids were in kindergarten. So I waited personally because you don't get that time back. I know not everybody can do that, but for me, it's just better when my kids are at school. I have that, 8:30 to 3. I pick them up, I'm with them, and I take them to showings with me sometimes. We're a good team. Sometimes I get my older kids to pick up my younger kids, but I also don't want them to feel like they're the mom or they're the dad. That's my responsibility. So it's very rare that I get them to do that. Sometimes I'll drop them off at my husband's office. So it's just being flexible and one day at a time, it really is. It's every day is different.
Yeah, I love that. And again, I kind of want to reiterate, like, most of you can bring your kids. And I do feel like that's kind of the definition of the flexibility, right? We got to do a 7 p.m. showing or a 6 p.m. showing, but if it's got to be with our kids, I'll never forget the day where I was at a home inspection and a mom was there with 3 of her kids nursing the baby, And I was like, you got to do what you got to do, right? And people are more forgiving than you think. And she may have thought, oh, the home inspector is going to judge me or whatnot, but I couldn't have been more proud of her and more supportive. So know that you have to take that, and we can have those resources as agents. So Dee, I'm going to start with you again. Another common question. What systems or tools help you stay organized, or do you have any like mom hacks as tools? For example, Corey, I'll use Corey because we're good friends. Like, she years ago got 2 phone numbers because that's a really easy way for her to separate her life from her real estate, or, use as a friend, as a showing partner. So what are some of the tips and tricks and tools you use in your business?
Well, again, I take my kids when I need to take them, but I also want, when they get out of school, I want to be there to help them with their homework. I want to be there to spend time with them. So at night, I do a lot of my stuff at night. When they go down, I don't watch a lot of TV. I really don't, because I love what I do. So I don't really relax a lot at night. My relaxation is in my bed, but I have my laptop opened up and I'm working hard. So, I might take like an hour a night for myself, but for the rest of the time, I dedicate to my clients, and it's just better for me to do it that way.
Yeah, I love that. So personally, if you receive an email from me at 4 a.m., apologies. But that's for me. Like, I love that you highlighted that. Like, I do my computer work in the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, and I carve out those times in the middle of the day with my children or doing stuff like that. So just realigning your perspective on what that looks like, and kind of cheating and stealing moments where you can. I love that. So Alicia, same question. Any tools or tricks that help you stay organized as a mom?
Yeah, I mean, I live by my Google Calendar. If it's not in there, it doesn't happen. In fact, this morning I had to remember that I scheduled listing photos for one day this week and about double booked myself. And I think an awesome hack is finding an office where you have people that work well together. There's a few of us in our office, and we pick up anything that needs to be done for each other, and we will show for each other without any expectation of payment, or whatever needs to be done. For example, Friday is my 4-year-old's preschool graduation. I also have a client who needs the final walkthrough at the exact same time. So another agent is filling in for me, and she's going to do the final walkthrough for me, which again is hard for my control freak self because I like to see things all the way through. But it's she is also a mom, so she was incredibly understanding of the circumstance. But yeah, just I don't know that there's a hack. Unless you want to call prayer a hack, because we need it all the time. Sometimes we're just praying our way through and taking things day by day, and things change so much. I mean, we're supposed to have 2 ball games tonight, and well, that's not happening. So today's just kind of been weird, and now things that I've turned down, I'm kind of trying to fill in and make them happen now that games have been canceled. But I think you just got to take it day by day. I actually plan on Sunday night, we write out our family calendar for the week, because if I look at it as a whole month, I'll just have a full-blown panic attack and nothing will get done. So just, for us, it's week by week to just know, and having a good husband that, we divide and conquer a lot of things. He sometimes has to take one when I take the other, and he also will take them to work with him too if he needs to. But yeah, just I think the only hack is prayer at this point.
I love it. I think you have some great stuff. So Leslie, same question. Any tools, tips, tricks, hacks that you use?
I'd say, like Google Calendar, I have a 2-inch planner that I carry around, and it's the heaviest thing, and my office gives me a hard time for it. But every day of the week, of the year, has a full page, and I needed that because I need to write down what we're eating for dinner, what we need from the store, what time I need to pick up every kid, and what time I need to leave my office to get there. I mean, I have to write it all down because I don't have great boundaries. I am not good. These women are probably much better than I just do it, and I say yes, and I just make it kind of keep going crazy. But writing everything down in that planner, and then I go back through the week and I can make sure I didn't miss anything, or the to-do list last week, did it get all done? And I transferred over to today's. A lot of times, because I carry it around everywhere I go, if I'm sitting early at a meeting or if I'm bored in a meeting, I just fill it out, right, and add in things like teacher appreciation gifts, right? Which leads me to the second hack, is outsource, kind of like we said, leverage. But I have found moms that can do things so much better than I can, like appreciation gifts. There was a mom making $10 baskets She would deliver them to my kids' school, write my kids' name on them and the teachers for a $10 fee. It was like all my teachers got gifts and they were happy, and my kids like box checked. And I felt great
Best
because there was a
$10
mom,
you've ever spent.
right? It was a mom in our area too. She put it on Marketplace and like, here's what I'm putting together. Like I felt I am promoting her business. I'm helping her. She's helping me. It's great. I have that with like a lot of things in life, that just a family, a person that has a service, and I take it. It's great. So that's definitely a hack.
Oh, I should have added Instacart or any kind of pickup
It's
service.
another amen for Instacart.
Whatever I need to do to save an hour of walking around the store aimlessly.
I love it. Okay, Brooklyn, same question. What tools, tips, tricks, and obviously you are in production, but anything you advise your agents of as well?
Yeah. So as I was going to say, I'm a little bit unique, and I am in production, but not full time because I do lead a team. So I would say also, I am very much type B. I'm not type A. I'm not organized. I'm not a planner. I'm not any of that. And so I've had to really learn the systems that I will follow. I really, really want to be the mom that will use a planner. And every year I try and every year I fail. So I know what does work for me. And one of them is my calendar. I use my calendar at a very high level. I have a month calendar hanging in my kitchen that has just like the big bulk events. And then on my Google Calendar, it's time blocked. It's got tasks. It's color coded. So my tasks are certain color. Appointments are red where they can't be moved. I have drive time. Anything and everything is there. So one, my team knows this is my calendar. They know when they can schedule things with me. I have appointment slots where people can just easily put spots, and I can control where people schedule things for me. So that's a huge one for me. I think the second is the leverage of the people around you. So that could be systems. Definitely, if you don't have systems in place, find people that do and see if they'll share them with you. Listing checklist, transaction checklist if you're an individual agent, just so you know all the steps you need to do and you're not trying to guess. And then, but more so the leverage. So my team, we have 5 admin, marketing, transaction coordinator, listing coordinator, and I still will have agents that they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing all this TC work. And I'm like, what? You have a TC. Why are you doing it? So lean into the people around you. If there is a service, I know there's a lot of TC systems and services you can use. So lean into those if you can. I also have a business coach, and so I lean into her a lot. We have coached through a lot of ups and downs. We've coached through doubling our team size. So we lean into really heavy on goal setting systems of where are we trying to go? What's our vision? And then breaking that down into just this week, what do I need to do to move our business forward and get there? And that's probably the biggest, because every single week can get chaotic, and I can easily, not being very organized and planning, I can easily lose track of the point of where we're trying to grow our business to. And so when I can just easily pull up that one system, it's 12-week year GPS, 5-year vision, 1-year vision, all 5 of those. When I can easily pull that up and just say, this week, if I do nothing else, I have to do these 3 things, then it helps me keep our business on track, and keeps me on track for what really my priorities are, because we can all get lost in the weeds.
I would have never taken you for a type B person. Oh. Fake it till you make it, right? I love it. Elizabeth, same question to you. Tips, tricks, hacks that keep your business online.
So I would say, imagine that I'm pulling out my cell phone. And imagine my cell phone here. So for years, so I've been in this now for, I don't do math. How many years have I been doing this now? A long time.
20 years since you've been licensed, 12 since you've been in
12.
production.
Okay. So 12 years. Let me just share. All of you that do not have this, please do this sooner rather than later. Get a CRM. Sabrina, one day she said, what CRM do you use? And I pulled out my phone and I said, well, this is my CRM. My contacts, it's all here. So yeah, there comes a point in production where you can't keep up anymore with the who's and the what's and the whens and all that. And having a good CRM that can load that information, that can do that mass bulk communication is huge, because you get to a point where you have repeat business. And that's what we're hoping for, right? We're trying to get away from buying leads and doing all that stuff and having enough business that you're not having to do all that marketing. So definitely CRM, huge, huge, huge. The other thing that I would say is a real big I don't know, hack, I guess is the word, or I don't know, tool. I have to take care of myself. So I think you've heard kind of consistently from everyone, it's hard to get into real estate. You are like working your tail feathers off to try and like plant yourself and be a person in this community and prove yourself and to everybody else. And there's only so much of you can give everybody else if you're not taking care of yourself. So really early on, I learned that I have to carve out time, whether it's an hour, whether it's, hopping in a bathtub, which I am a bathtub taker every night, and I read, and I might have a glass of wine or some other kind of bubbly beverage, is really important. And I work out. Like in the morning, I get up and I give myself 30 to 45 minutes to just sweat, and I need that for my own mental health and sanity so that I can show up for the people that I'm working for and my family.
I love it. Same. Team baths. It's like, do not bother me when I'm in the bathtub. Okay, gonna kind of skip around again. I feel like we're talking about how to manage our business, but I feel like there's a lot of moms who are newer in real estate that don't have business, right? Alicia, we talked about like you take whatever you can get, but what do you guys specifically do maybe now or when you got your business going for lead generation?
Gosh, so again, having been in this for 12 years, my world is a lot different than it was the first couple of years, but I bought leads back in the day where they were not like $10 bazillion. Now they're $10 bazillion, but Zillow, I love Zillow, and I purchased as many leads as I could get out of that, and I worked every single thing that got thrown in my lap, and I just started building that database. Today, that's kind of hard. It's hard to get into zip codes. They're expensive. I would look at other sources like homes.com. I wouldn't go with realtor.com personally. But yeah, I would look at just different sources for purchasing leads. I think that's important. And a really big one, especially starting out when you have no money, right? Because that's usually where we're starting. You have to reach out to your family and your friends. You have to let them know. You cannot be embarrassed or ashamed in this profession. Like you have to wear your I'm a realtor proudly, and you got to let the people know that you're a realtor, and you've got to sit there and explain how excited you are and ask for business. People are afraid to ask for business, but you have to.
Love it. Perfect. So same, and obviously it could be advice to your team, or what's the most successful lead generation you're seeing right now?
Yeah. So as we've grown our team, we have quite a few different lead avenues. But I would say the top things for someone getting into real estate, our very first focus for them is what we call your sphere of influence. So she mentioned it, your family, your friends, just in general, your database. We always want to chase internet leads that have a maybe 4% conversion rate instead of going after the people that already know us and like us and are going to convert at 2 out of 12. So go talk to the people that you know. I tell people if I even hear they're in real estate school, you need to start telling everybody now you're in real estate school, and the people that listen usually come into real estate with at least a couple of things ready to go. So find the people around you, and then everywhere you go into a business, start talking to your waiter, start talking to the owner, start talking to the manager. We as a team study at a really high level DISC personality. And so with that, our agents know two things. One, they know their DISC, so they know their tendencies, and it's like 60-something% of people are a high S, which means they're not comfortable just going and talking to random people. They really don't want to do conflict. They don't want to pressure people. They just want people to like them. And so if you know that that's your tendency, you know what you have to overcome in real estate. The second part of that is they know within 5 minutes what questions to ask a person to know their DISC, to know what that person needs from them immediately to build a relationship with them. Because if you're a high I and you really like to talk and you go talk to a high D who doesn't really like to talk, they're going to shut you down pretty quickly. But if you know that they're a high D and they just need to know that you're not going to take advantage of them and that they can trust you and that you're going to do your job, then you know how to direct that conversation and build their trust and then eventually gain them as a client. So I think sphere and knowing how to have those conversations is the biggest. And then the second is having it everywhere. If you have a sign, your number should be on it. Where can you put your number? Like literally anywhere that you can think of. If you can put your number there, put your number there. And then social media, like having content. You're somewhere like this, take videos or pictures. And a lot of people don't like videos. So if you don't like videos, that's fine too. Just do pictures or do a video where you're not in it. Do social media something. You just don't want to be a hidden agent. So, because again, that's targeting the people that already know you. So I think that's the biggest.
I love it. So same, Leslie, same question. What do you use for lead generation, or kind of what built your business?
I think I'm in a unique spot at Walnut Cove Realty. We work hand in hand with Realtor.com. And so it is hands down amazing. The leads are from nothing to everything across the board. And it gave me, when I transferred to this office, the ability to, like I said, grab at anything and practice my craft on a $20,000 lot of dirt in Rosman, right? I really got to have the conversations and get better at it with every client. And so that when I was dealing with a home, I got better, or a trailer, and then I went to a home, and then a bigger home, and then luxury. And so I really think that for the first 4 years, I didn't have much of a lead generation. I had none. Okay. I had Sphere. I learned about CRM and putting my Sphere into a CRM, and how to farm neighborhoods. And that sometimes works. Sometimes it's a dud, but I do think for $300, you don't know, or $500. I think that staying consistent, like I said, it's the long haul. So keep your social media, keep your friends and family knowing you're in the business, because people do hop out of the business and go do something else. So not, drown them in it, but to keep your name and that you're a real estate agent still at the front of mind, that they know you're still in the business. It's something I've done all along. I'm not sure if it pays off, but sponsoring your kid teams, sponsoring the teacher appreciation brunch, sponsoring things. I've tried all the little things, put my name on a shirt, on the back of a shirt, different brunches, at my card out, and I'm handing out breakfast sandwiches. I feel like I've tried them all to see what works. I don't know if any of them do, but I'll still do it because I feel like it helps the community, and it's my way that I can easily say I'm donating to a charity. At the end of the year, it's a tax write-off. My kid benefits from it, and then my name on their shirts doesn't hurt. So that I'll keep doing it, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to just bounce off all these ladies, because I think knowing your sphere and then hacking into your sphere. So I am a millennial, so I started out real estate with like 2,500 Facebook friends. So right there was really easy, right, to just post on Facebook and to stay relevant in people's life, because even if they are not liking your post or reacting to them in some sort of way, just staying at the top of their mind. And some of that goes back to I was on the path to be a sociology minor in college. So kind of know how people's brains work. And so that was easy for me. But then also my kids are in a lot of activities, and my kids are in the same athletic programs that I was in, that my husband was in, all of these things. So we knew that was our sphere to begin with. And so, yeah, just sponsoring the teams, showing up for events, and, showing face. There's definitely been a return for me in kids sports. I mean, I've gotten a few listings just from, some people tried to FISBO them, and I'm like, how's that FISBO going? Asking for the business, like, are you ready for me to list it yet? And most of the time it's, yeah, we failed. Let me let you do this. But, yeah, not just having a sphere, but really knowing how to get inside of that sphere, and just talk to people. That's literally all you have to do, is care about people and talk to them, and it'll always come back.
So I too say sphere of influence, but if you don't know who your sphere of influence is, go on, Pinterest has a great list. That's actually where I started, because I'm like, who is my sphere? And then that'll kind of get, who's your doctor? Who's your dentist? Who's, where do you go every day? Which Starbucks do you go to? Meet those people, talk to them, get to know them. Make yourself come out of your comfort zone. It's not always fun, but you have to just be confident, be consistent. My broker in charge pays for leads. So we also have a huge system. And coming from a customer service background, going straight from a marketing degree into insurance, I was just used to being on the phone, the customer service. So I do really well. I know the percentage is typically low, but if you are good on the phone and you love to talk to people and people like you, then do that. Do what's good for you, what's easy for you, what you like to do. So you don't have to go all these different places. I mean, if you're good on the phone, get on the phone. Just find what's comfortable for you and keep going with it.
Yeah, I was going to say everything you guys said kind of made me think of a quote. Someone said, if lead generation is not fun, you're doing it wrong, right? Stick with what you're already doing. Your kids' baseball games. You like talking on the phone? Great. You have your sphere of influence. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Stay where you're at. And I feel like that's really powerful. So thank you all for those. And I know we're kind of up against time, so we're going to do a final question, a combo question again, because I just got ahead of myself with so many questions. How do you deal with mom guilt / protect your mental health? So I feel like that's kind of an all-in-one question as a mom in real estate. So Dee, first.
I always put my, everybody else first. I have a hard time putting myself on the platter of life. And I've really had to learn to do that. So whether it be a massage periodically, or whether it be, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends, twice a month, or whatever that is, do something to, enjoy time away from it too. Because I am my own worst enemy a lot of times. I feel like that can be a strength and a weakness for me. So I've really just had to, just learn what works and what doesn't work. And so, yeah, just take time and for yourself.
I love it. So Alicia, same question. How do you deal with mom guilt and protect your mental health?
I don't know.
You're letting me know when you figure it out.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think, again, it's just like, I don't know that mom guilt ever goes away, right? Like, I don't think that's a thing that goes away. I think you just learn to give yourself an abundance of grace and know that they're resilient and they're going to be all right. And just that, like, you're going to have grace. And to me, there will be a time, like, for example, I thought Georgia would never start kindergarten. Like, I felt like that was like a million light years away. But she starts in the fall. So, we're going to have a whole extra 3 hours a day that we have to take care of ourselves or whatever. But I just really reminded myself that those years were short. And they were. Like, looking back, they were so short. And not to just dwell in what I missed or what I didn't do, and just try to enjoy things in the moment. And, yeah, take time when you can. But, these are also moments that you don't get back. So. And, I don't think you ever regret showing up too much for your kids. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a great answer for that because I'm still trying to figure it out. But aren't we all? Like, I think that's why we're here, right?
I think that is a great answer. I think you're being honest.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe we'll all figure it out together one day.
Yeah, report back. All right, Leslie, same. How do you deal with mom guilt and protect your mental health?
Mom guilt, I would say the best thing that I learned to do as the kids got older, like I said, my youngest is 7. In the beginning, when they're really little, I think it was worse because I wasn't home with them. And then when you leave them and they're babies and they cry for you and dad's not the same or babysitter's not the same, you have that guilt. But you trudge through it just like you do your first few years of real estate. And then you get to a point where I just have talks with them and say, like, hey, I want to show up for you this week. What's the most important thing for you this week, right? Like, every honor roll, I know it's a good problem to have, but there are so many honor roll celebrations, and they're every 9 weeks for every kid. And then there's, the citizenship awards, and it's too much. I can't go to all of them. So which one is important to you, And they'll tell me, like, hey, I don't need that. I don't need you there at 8 a.m. for 5 minutes. Can you come to my game at 6 o'clock on Thursday night? Like that. Okay, I'll do that. So it relieves the guilt from me because they know that I'm trying, but I can't do all 4 kids every event. I can't do it. And kind of don't want to because it's setting them up for some perfection that I can't achieve and I don't want to achieve, and it's unattainable. The other word, I feel like balance was a big one for me to learn that balance was not about every day checking all the boxes, the me time, the gym time, the alone time, the husband time, the kid time, being a wife, right? I can't do it every day. And once I released that from my brain and I said it's more of a balance of a month, so some weeks, I'm not a great mom that week. I'm not. I'm showing houses and I'm gone every day, all day, and the babysitter picked them up from school every day. And I come home at 7:30 and I say goodnight and I'm too tired for a book and a story and I go to bed. And that's what that week looked like. But the next week, I'm there, right? And I signed up and I'm coaching your football team on Saturdays, and Saturdays are our day. And we coach all day long, right? Saturday, I was at the field from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That I had no phone on me, right? I had no agents. It was just kids. So I feel like it's quality over quantity for me in this part of life, where I have to let go of that balance per day, and it's more of a balance of the month, and then giving quality time to my kids and communicating that time.
So many truth bombs in there. I loved it. So Brooklyn, the same question. How do you deal with mom guilt and protect your mental health?
Yeah, so this is something I really struggled with when I first had him, because there's like double-sided coin here. One, I have set hours, so that's great. I have set hours. I don't have to work as many nights. And also, that's not as great. I have set hours, so I don't have as much time where I can just like, hey, we're going to hang out today, and I'm not going to go to work because I have to show up for my team. So there's two sides there. And where I really struggled is I'm really, really blessed in that my mom keeps my son. And so I know that he's with her and he's happy and he stays with my nieces and nephews. So he has fun. And I struggled because I did the math and she was spending more time with him every week than I was. And she still does. And so I was like, good. I'm glad that he's happy there. And also, this kind of sucks. And so I had to learn that finding that balance, and like even to say, I'm going to start leaving work at 4:30 every day instead of 5 and getting stuck in 5 o'clock traffic. And then I actually don't get home until 7 o'clock. So shifting some things like that. And then I also actually recently, probably in the past 6 months, had this conversation with my coach. And one of the things that she said to me is, you have to shift your thinking that he doesn't care if you're sitting in the floor playing with toys or if you're washing dishes. You're still spending time with him. So let him wash dishes with you. Let him go on a showing with you. Let him come to this with me. Like, he doesn't care. He just knows he's spending the day with me. So I had to shift my mindset around that a lot. And that has helped me immensely to know he doesn't have the preference of what we're doing as long as he's with me. And so sometimes there's flexibility where he can come. He gets so excited if he gets to go to the office with me or go to team meeting and get to hear everybody. So I think that was a big shift for me. And then just knowing that it's okay to say, no, I can't do this at night for you, or I'm going to leave at 4:30 or whatever it might be. I'm taking his birthday off. But it's okay to set those boundaries.
Well, you guys know that I like to work out, so that's definitely my take care of me part. I think we've kind of talked about this. Real estate is flexible. It's like a double-edged sword. It's a great thing, and then it's also your worst nightmare. But I had to embrace flexibility early on. I very much value picking up and dropping off my kid from school. That's very important to me. So I work really hard from about 9 until 3, and then I'm kind of off the clock until about 6-ish, and then I'm back on the clock. So that might mean I'm doing a showing at 6:30, 7 o'clock, so my husband's home. So I've had to learn to be flexible, take the time when I have the time. And real estate is also seasonal, right? So it is slower for me, at least. I don't know about you ladies, but for me in the winter. So I planned for a slow winter. I love having a slow winter. So I am home with my kids. I am baking all the food and making all the cookies and having all the family dinners, and they see way more of me than they probably ever want to see, and that's okay. That's my time. And so my family also knows when spring hits, they're not going to see me very much because I'm going to be crazy running around. So we plan for it. So we acknowledge that there are seasons. We make those things happen. I think the other piece too, and people have mentioned this as well, bring your kids into your job. So my daughter was 6 months old when I got into real estate. She came with me to all of my showings. It was amazing. And as she got older, she was my showing assistant and flipping on the lights and opening the doors. And she was very dramatic about the whole thing. And it was so much fun. And I have so many videos of that. My son, I hired this past year. He's my assistant. So he does my ad hoc paperwork. And that is amazing. So we actually talk to each other more now than we did while he was in high school living in my house. So it's just one of those things I think you have to get creative and then just embrace flexibility. And yes, the end.
Mic drop. I could sit here all day with you lovely ladies. Thank you so, so much. We're up against time. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. I know it's really challenging, and I'm sure I speak for all of you when you say you're here to help. If anyone has any questions, please reach out to you privately. But thank you again, all of you, for being here. I so appreciate it. One last round of applause for our wonderful panelists. And thank you, everybody. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.